Welcome to the Her Voice Shines podcast, where we celebrate the power, brilliance, and resilience of women everywhere. I'm your host, Chanell Washington. Join us as we share inspiring stories and insights from extraordinary women who have found their voice and are making a difference. Together, we'll create a ripple effect, illuminating the path to visibility and empowerment. Let's break barriers, shatter ceilings, and lift each other up. In each episode, we dive deep into the journeys of women who have turned their challenges into triumphs and their dreams into reality. Whether you're looking for motivation, guidance, or a community that understands your journey, you're in the right place. Stay tuned and remember, let your voice shine. Let your voice shine. You have landed at the Her Voice Shines podcast. I'm your fabulous host, Chanell Washington, streaming in none other than Houston, Texas, H-Town, baby. And let me tell you something. When I'm recording this, it's probably about 30 degrees out there. And these old bones, look, y'all, it's not hitting. Okay, but today we have a very special guest for today. I am so super excited. Y'all know I love this podcast, and we always bring the noise and bring the heat. And this lady today, y'all, she is absolutely amazing. We're going to do a little bit different. I'm going to actually start off by reading her bio, and she's going to come to the stage after that and show us who she is and what she's going to do for us on today. So let's kick this off with this fabulous bio. We have Chanell Sykes, who is a lifestyle content creator, beauty founder, and media personality redefining modern womanhood. With a community of more than 2 million followers, Chanell blends humor, elegance, and real-life honesty to show women, especially mothers, that softness, femininity, and confidence can coexist beautifully. As the creator behind Dainty Girl, Chanell has built a lifestyle brand rooted in intention, self-expression, and grace. Dainty Girl is not about being delicate. It is about being grounded, present, and giving yourself permission to embrace unapologetic femininity. This philosophy extends into her 2 fine fragrances, Dream and Silk and Unjay, both created to invoke intimacy, confidence, and quiet luxury. Chanell's voice and influence has been spotlighted nationally, including features on The Shade Room, an appearance on the Sherri Shepherd Show, and a powerful conversation on the Dear Future Wifey podcast, where she shared her perspective on femininity, self-worth, and ongoing journey to evolving as a wife, mother, and a woman. Known for her ability to balance luxury with laughter, Chanell's content resonates because it feels real and shows the duality that can exist in beauty. She represents a new generation of women in media who merge in authenticity with aspiration, proving that being dainty is not a label, but a lifestyle rooted in confidence, joy, and self-awareness. If you ain't already hollering all over the building, y'all go ahead and give a round of applause to this very beautiful guest, y'all. Chanell Sykes in the building, baby. What goes down?
Hey.
Hey, Chanell, let me just tell you, before we start, I already told Chanell how proud I am of her for standing in this journey, for really, really just battling out in this influencer space. She does it in a beautiful way that I truly feel is authentic. But if you guys haven't been watching Chanell, like she was for real, just like on Sherri Shepherd Show, she was there because, y'all, she was trying to like curl her hair like Teyana Taylor. That's what was going on. Because she say, look, it's Teyana Taylor, right? I got this inspiration. I want to curl it down. But, it didn't go as planned. But my first question, really, Chanell, like for me, when I was watching, it was like the cheering after every curl. Because I was like, this Chanell, I'm just being real. I got to tell you from a watcher, Chanell like curled a piece. She was like, she was, Chanell, I will tell you how I see it. Chanell say, dang, Chanell was like really feeling like after every curl that it was going somewhere. And I'm trying to figure, don't laugh at me, child. I was just trying to, because that's the question I wanted to ask. I wanted to ask about the journey, because we see finished products all the time. But my mind always goes to the journey and what people are thinking when they doing this. So when you had like the one curl and you was clapping and going on, you was feeling what? Like them curls was hitting or what? I mean, I don't know.
Okay, first of all, I didn't know we was gonna go straight into this.
Oh, look, I told you before. No, Chanell, I told you before we got started. I tell people this is how it goes in Shanae's world and Her Voice Shines podcast land. We bring the people on in, we treat them real good, and we just have a conversation because everybody wanted. Well, let me not say everybody. Let me make this personal. Shanae,
I know.
know Come on, baby. You got 2-3 curls. You must have thought.
Okay, so initially, like my hair has been short before. However, it was like tapered. You know what I'm saying? Like I had the relaxer, the pixie cut, taper and stuff. So I've never really had to go in, and it's easy to mold. But with my hair being longer this time, and I saw some of Teyana styles, I was like, they got to be doing it differently. There's no way they're molding this down. They got to just be freehand curling and then like adjusting. So I figured, well, I'm getting really nice curls. You know, they're curling. It's gonna turn out great, and it did not. It wasn't it.
It didn't hit.
Mm-mm.
No, because
and I'll do it again. I'm gonna try again.
See, look, I was gonna ask you from that experience, what would you have done different to maybe get closer? Girl said she'll do it again. Now look, now you know I'm a girl that wanted us to learn something from going through, but Chanell say, look, that's how I went down, and I'll do it just like that. But look, that moment, it captivated the audience. It's been seen so many different places. You have provided
so many places.
You have provided that level of laughter. I said, Chanell, that was a moment that you probably didn't even realize that was creating really this spark, this grounding moment for your brand. But girl, just thank you for bringing us into that world of really curling that hair and saying, I'm just going to do it, because here we are today, you know, after the Sherri Shepherd Show. So I wanted to, of course, start and kick off with that. But getting there and getting to this place where I'm really seeing your brand take off. I'm really seeing you doing some really great things. And as I told you, I'm proud of you. But let's kind of take us back to the land of social media influencer. When did Chanell Sykes say this is a career path I'm going to go into? And how, you know, because the husband and the kids be around too. Mm-hmm. Like how hard or how easy was it for them to be like, yes, okay, we'll kind of go along with it? Because, you know, you making the decision and then everybody else kind of being on screen, on camera, that's a whole different walk. So tell us what started you to doing it and how easy was it to get a yes from them?
So surprisingly, my husband's in the film industry. So he's like already really used to being on camera. And believe it or not, my husband was creating content before I was. So he was doing a lot of stuff like on Facebook. And I always tell him he was like ahead of his time when it came to like the funny skits and stuff, because he was trying to blow it up on Facebook and people weren't really watching it there. So whenever I decided that I wanted to do something, he was just kind of like, I already did that. You want to go back? And I'm like, yeah, because it's easy. It's fun, you know. And so he started doing the videos with me. And then the kids, I think they were just so used to already seeing us in a creative space that they were like, well, I want to do it. So it was really easy, to be honest.
Okay, happy to hear that it was like a family effort, because sometimes I've heard with other influencers, like, you know, that's their thing, but then the family like, you know, I ain't trying to really be on camera like that. But because your husband already had that lane of, you know, creativity, mm-hmm. It was good, and that's a beautiful thing. Now, would you say like to getting into the influencer space? I mean, because it's a little bit different. You know, you have funny skits, but then we got this real life stuff. Like, you know, mm-hmm. We got other things that we're going through. I think there's a difference, and something happens in the shift of just posting kind of content, but then now we're bringing you into more intimate spaces. Was there a time where you thought that maybe like I can't share that, or did you have some moments in, because you share a lot of stuff, Chanell, did you have some moments in that where it became a little bit difficult to cross this space as it relates to content?
What's funny is it just happened yesterday. So on Facebook, I feel like I give everything. And then on Instagram, I feel like I give what I know that they're used to seeing, because I'm scared to go outside of the box with what I usually post. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it and we're going to see how it goes. So I had posted my perfume there, and I really made like a proper formal, hey, this is what I do. I know I make you guys laugh, but I also sell perfume. And I was like, just do it. And when I tell you, I got so many sales yesterday, and I was like, okay, so it just seems as though they just want to rock. They just want to rock with me regardless of what it is that I do. So yeah, I can't believe you asked that. But also, I do a lot of comedy, and my biggest thing is being able to be funny while still inadvertently selling something. So like, you may have seen skits where I'm sniffing my husband where he's wearing the cologne. And that draws people in like, ooh, what is that? I want it, you know, versus being like, hi, this is my brand. You should buy it. So because I'm able to weave comedy into it, I don't feel like it's that difficult to do.
I know you just said, I can't believe you asked that, but like really, I try and go into you guys' space so that people can get a realistic view of really who you are, because sometimes they even see the content, like they can see a bunch of different content, but they don't really see the person behind the content, even though they're visibly seeing them every single day, multiple times a day. Like even I get that experience even when I go out. I don't produce nearly as much content as you, but even being on a podcast and doing different things, speaking or whatever, people will come and they'll notice like, oh my gosh, you're just so quiet. And I'm like, I'm really just a back of the room nerd that came and started trying to do some real life stuff. That's all I really am. So they're very, they get this shock factor when they're like, oh, okay, like, you're kind of reserved and all of the things. I say, when I show up here, this is a place of passion. I know that I'm putting my God-given gifts into the earth, so it flows a little bit differently. So you may get a different side of me here versus out in the streets. So I want to make sure I ask you that. And congratulations on all the sales. Keep them sales.
Thank you.
Keep them sales coming in, baby. So y'all make sure y'all go over there and grab some perfume. I got to get mine because I definitely want to smell it. Let's go back a little bit to childhood upbringing. I think this is very important. Now, I love your family dynamic. I love the purity of it. I love the age kind of. You got a bigger one, a smaller one, so you got some depth in there. Even with that, like, these kids coming out so different these days. Even if you have one now versus 14 years ago, them completely different babies. These babies. Girl, what's wrong with these babies? Okay, we're not gonna talk about them like that. But what's wrong with them? I got an 8-year-old. I don't get it. But tell me about your upbringing a little bit, and is there any inkling of that in how you produce content today or your family dynamic? Is there something that you reach back and think about from something that you were kind of raised in, or maybe taking a step away from them? He's like, I didn't get that, so I'm doing something differently now. So if you can channel maybe your upbringing into how that influences your current content or what you would like to share as a family dynamic, talk us through that.
I've never thought about that. And so I do know that growing up, my mom has always been like, you can be whatever you want to be, right? And she didn't mean like a doctor or a lawyer. She meant a model, an actress, something in the creative space. And so when I was in high school and middle school, I got made fun of a lot. Like they used to call me long neck, giraffe, olive oil, like all of these things, right? And it really broke me down. But my mom put me in modeling, and she was like, no, I need you to know why you look that way. And she even named me, like, my middle name is Anjay, which is why the perfume, And she told me that when she named me Chanell Anjay, she knew it was because I was going to be something one day. So the whole just knowing that my mom believed in me at such a young age and saw more in me than what I may have seen in myself. And now I'm able to go out there and like show the world, like my mama raised me. She prepared me for this moment, So yes, my childhood has a lot to do with it.
And I ask that because sometimes we don't forget, we tend to forget those seeds. And me, I'm a very grounded person. I'm always thinking like, why is this showing up? And like, there's some things that are rooted in us that we kind of like, oh, there's like nothing. There's so many people not getting that, Chanell. There's so many people where their parents are not speaking life into them. So when I see someone who, has a strong career, I always take them back to that, because number one, it helps my audience see and believe that what you say and speak over your children, baby, it goes so, oh, Chanell, I can go a whole tangent right now. It goes so far away. And let me tell you, as a tall woman out here, I'm a 6-footer girl, whole 6'1".
I'm 6 foot. Yeah.
Now check us out, baby. All the way sitting in this seat and coming from a household that told me the exact same thing. Baby, I don't care whatever it is. You might not even understand it, but you stand in it and you do it. You don't slouch. And I used to have a tendency, I used to always try and hide my height. Like, I would be like, girl, I would be like all like this right here.
Yep.
Like everyone had to be. Yeah, everyone had to be this and that or whatever. And I remember I had a teacher, and I was taller than her. She probably was like 5, maybe 9, maybe. And she came up to me and she pulled me to the side and she said, don't do that again. She said, that is your height. She said, God gave it to you. And she said, if I see you do that again, she said, you're going to have a problem with me. And she knew that. And I remember that being a very defining moment, because I was young and still trying to figure it out. And you know, it's hard when you're young to stand in who you are and stand up and be. And that was one of those defining moments that I always look back and tell her, like, even she's still alive, that girl, you thank you for doing that for me. Because, you know, to be honest, when you do all this slouching and crouching down, you're making it more obvious.
Yeah. Oh, she thought she don't want us to know.
That you are who you are, and that's how he created you to be. So I want to make sure I ask that. Now, tell me about blending this authenticity, because sometimes it's so content focused. Like you said, I have to produce so many pieces of content per day. Sometimes it becomes like more task focused. I know that from personal experience. I'm like, I have to get out there. But tell me, how do you keep that authenticity flowing through there? Because we feel it. Well, I know that we feel it. But we know that when it's task focused, sometimes that can kind of go to the back burner because you just have to get the thing done. So tell us how you keep that authenticity fresh throughout how you produce.
So I keep it fresh because I post in real time. I don't plan my content, because then I'm planning how I'm going to act, and I'm planning, you know, what I want it to look like, versus if I'm laying in my bed and I get up and I'll be like, oh, I need to do my hair. Then I'll go ahead and record while I'm doing my hair, right? So if I mess up in there, then I can post that because it really happened in that moment. And literally, like, most times I'll do something, and then if I like the way that it looks, like the video where I did my hair and I was curling it, I was doing a tutorial. Like, I was going to show you a beautiful finished product.
I didn't know that.
Yes. And it didn't come out. But when I saw when I saw the clip of like how funny it was, and then my husband walked in, I was like, that's the content. I don't really care about how the tutorial came about. Or there's one when I was trying to do braids and my comb broke in my hair in the back. And I was like, okay, there's the content. I'm just gonna post it. So I literally just like record what's happening in my life at that moment. That's how I get the most authentic content.
And I love that. And she said, look, I didn't just scrap it because I did not know it was a tutorial. My God, today. Look, I didn't.
So what's funny is I was going for, have you seen Hustle and Flow with Terrence Howard? Yeah. I was going for that. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, you know what? No, I think I want to do Teyana Taylor, because I had just watched it. I'm like, it can't be that hard. Yeah, no, it was. And I still have to do my Terrence Howard. I'm going to do that, whoop that video.
Okay, I'll be ready for it. I'll say you told me she's gonna do it, and I'll be there.
And will, and absolutely will.
For real.
And Bruno Mars, so be ready. I got some stuff planned.
I say Bruno.
Yeah, I got some things planned.
Hey girl, you say when your husband walked in, he really legit was like, okay, what happened? Because the way he looked, girl, I fell out. I said,
yes, that was not planned. Like, he knew I was back here doing something because he was in the living room. And I was like, oh, I'm about to go do my hair. But when it came out the way it came out, and he literally caught me off guard. I was crying in that video. I was so embarrassed. And I'm never embarrassed, like, by my hair. I don't care. But that day embarrassed me so bad. And then to see it on the Sherri Shepherd Show, no clue that it was going to happen. I'm like, y'all chose this moment of my life? Like,
yes, girl, keep showing up and keep taking us along the ride, because you never know, like, how the smallest thing people be transformed by like that. You never know which moment. That's why I encourage people, like, keep showing up. The one that you think gonna really hit and do all this, don't sometimes be the ones that don't go anywhere, like in terms of like views and likes and all that. Yep. Would it be that most, look, the one that's not planned? We did not know. We wasn't even going for this book at first. I was trying to teach y'all something, so I thought it. And then this happened. Look, I say, I'm here for it. Now, I love that you shared that, because it made me think about this, because, you know, when you're sharing a lot, how do you balance that privacy aspect? Because people want more. People want more. They want to be in it. And I got my babies, you know, then, you know, marriage enough is hard. And then our marriage is on screen. It's a lot of different layers to being an influencer, which I don't think people really just realize. Like, they see the face of it, but these are real life people with real life problems, real life bills, real life navigation. And I think, especially as this thing kind of goes bigger and bigger, people really tend to forget that or not know that, especially the younger ones that are coming up in this influencer world. So tell us about protecting that level of privacy. And I'm even going to layer on top of that, keeping your mindset like literally to you, so that you can keep producing.
Yeah, everything is not meant to be shared, right?
Yeah.
As much as I would love to be as transparent and vulnerable online, I also know that everybody's intention to receive my video is not pure. You know, even though my mindset might be this could help somebody, there may be people waiting to be like, see, I knew it. I just knew that something wasn't right, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
going into it knowing that what you put out is what you're gonna receive. And I know that if I were to put out negative content, then I would get a lot of negative people that would be in my community. And I didn't want that. So I think I would definitely tell people give, but give in what makes you happy. Give in a way where it's like, if I post this, am I gonna regret this and want to delete this? If so, then you don't need to post it. You know what I'm saying? Everything is not meant to be shared. And as far as when it comes to my mind space, I would say because I only post what I want you guys to see, I'm able to keep my peace. You know, at one point I was posting the kids, and I don't know if you noticed, but I don't post them as much anymore. Like the more we grew, the more I was like, because you have people who, like Ivy had a list at one point, or she used to say bud instead of like bird, right? Um, Super smart. Ivy's extremely smart. However, there were so many people in the comments who were like, she can't talk. Like, what's wrong with her? And you know, you just don't. I don't want that.
Wow.
So,
It's just like a different time now. And I was just, talking about this like in the social media world where everybody can just post, they can just give their comments. Like us, listen, I know we put it out there, I get it. Like, but you like legit just be in here talking about folks' kids and family. Like this has really changed the way in which people can spew their opinions.
yeah,
And it's a very crazy and delicate time because I'm like, because out here in the real world, in the streets, you're not going to walk up on nobody and be like, oh, your child can't talk. Oh, your child can't do this. So, like, where we are in this space of social media world, mental health is so extremely important because now you have to put on more filters that you didn't have to put back. I'm an 80s baby. When I was going to school, in the 90s and all that kind of stuff, that's when we were, I had my first cell phone in 8th grade, girl, but, it was the one that you had about 300
you
minutes.
play Snake.
And you had Snake on. That's all I had. That's all we had. So we didn't have that. When high school emerged, they started coming out with plans, and then you got free minutes at 9 o'clock. You can talk. But now to where we are, where everybody has access at the immediate, my mind really started to really shift there. Like, man, there's just so many different filters and extra level navigation. I was like, if I had to be in school now, I don't want to be in high school and middle school at this day and age. That's why I extend so much grace to the younger generation. And now my work is kind of going back to speak to them about voice, visibility, and identity so that they have that information to navigate times that we did not have to navigate, Chanell.
Yeah.
You get your age now doing it, and you telling me what you have to do to protect your kids. Just imagine somebody who's 13, 14, neurological stuff is just now starting to form. And you out here in this big old bad world with all these folks that can type anything.
Yes, scary. It's very scary. I remember. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I want you to go ahead.
I remember street lights come on, you got to be at home, or we going to the Candy Lady house 6 houses down on our bikes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, we don't live in that time anymore. And even if you wanted to try to reinvent that time, it's too dangerous. You got people yanking kids off the street. Like, and the internet is so easily accessible now, and it's shaping their mindsets. It's really scary.
It is. So, to those of you out there listening, like I said, I have an 8-year-old who's in there now. There are definitely things now that you need to be preparing yourself for, maybe preparing them for, in a world that you did not live in. And I come here with education for people from all kinds of walks of life, all kinds of different things, because that education on the front end matters. We cannot rely on the 1980s Puritan, okay? We cannot rely really on those tactics. And I'm so happy Chanell came because she is our first influencer of this level to come on this platform. And I wanted to make sure we heard it from her perspective as someone who's living this day in, day out and protecting privacy while still producing high quality content. So thank you, of course, for sharing that. Now, one of the things I have mentioned, and I have been very clear and saying this throughout the whole time, Chanell has been on this journey. I have actually watched Chanell for a very long time and would have never in a million years expected to interview her at all. But
Oh.
no, it's real talk. I've seen your content for a very long amount of time, which means that I know that you've been in it for a while. And there was a time I looked through your content, you said I was receiving constant no's. I went through a period where it was just no, here's another no, here's another no.
Mm-hmm.
How and why did you still continue to show up? And tell me what grounded you in such an abyss of no's.
So I continued to show up because I knew that eventually I'd get my yes. And whether that I really feel like the no's were because God was trying to steer me in a different direction. Right. So like I was so busy trying to get the brand deals, get the agency, be on people's radars, be brand safe. But then I realized that the more I did that, the less I realized that I'm my own brand. And then I created my own perfume line, and then boom, it sells out every time I restock. So it was like you can keep trying to go get what you think is for you, or you can receive what God has for you. And so I decided to receive what God has for me. So that's what really kept me grounded, knowing that God had a greater purpose. And it wasn't to just be on somebody's roster as another talent, or it wasn't to be able to be brand safe and get brand deals from people who I probably wouldn't never use their products, you know? So I knew at some point me being able to be myself was going to be enough for other people that see me. I already knew I was enough, even though there were times where I was like, man, is this really a good idea? Like, do I keep going in this direction? Like, should I not create the husband homeboy content? Should I not look like my hair is combed? Like, but in reality, like, those are things that make me like I enjoy doing them. And the right people will eventually take notice.
And I love that because it's the right people. And I think sometimes with many people, they try to please so many
Yeah.
and then end up not pleasing none, including themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that I run away from all the time. I said no because I even said like even if I started a podcast, like no, Sinead gonna do how she want to do it. I don't know what the fuck do on their podcast. This is what Sinead do on hers. This is how she brings
Yes.
it in. This is how she creates the atmosphere, and that's something I have to stand in so boldly every day because
Mm-hmm.
there's so many people ready to say that's not good enough or we don't like it or why are you doing this. And I tell people all the time, like an old pastor used to say, people are fickle. One day they feel like nut, and one day they don't. So one day they might for real be cheering you on from the stands and then talk about you like a dog the next day. So
Mm-hmm. That's
that's
true.
why you have to be rooted and grounded. And she said, look, I'm just going to accept what God has for me. I'm not trying to go out here and cast my net in all these different places, but I'm going to fully receive that. And there's something so powerful because so many women, especially ones that look like us, Chanell, they never have their reality.
Yeah.
They never have their reality to stop chasing all of the things and doing all the things and pleasing all that. But I'm so happy that something that you said, you know what, hey, let me create my own product. And each and every time y'all hear, she sells out. She sells out. So all those no's, baby, that was redirection for Chanell to say yes to herself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the big woo. Let me act right in here. That was because sometimes I get a little but that was the thing when Chanell said yes to herself and yes to what God has given her. And let me tell you something. Ain't no yes bigger than that.
You right.
No yes is
I
bigger than
am
that.
blown away. Hmm?
No yes is bigger than that.
Oh yeah, no. God has literally blown my mind. Like the last quarter of last year, I had made a video in October and I had written down a bunch of things that I wanted to take place for just that quarter. And then I saw a video that said, I need you to be delusional for 30 days. I need you to walk like you already have it, like it's already
Mhm.
yours. I need you to act accordingly, like you already have it. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. What I got to lose? And literally from October to November, we got a scent made, my own signature scent. November to December, I had my first meet and greet sold out, perfume sold out there, launched online. So, and I'm not talking about like 10 and 20 perfumes, I'm talking hundreds of perfumes at a time where it was like, I was giving not my last, but I was giving large amounts. Like, okay, I believe in this. Like, God said it, so that's what it is, and I'm gonna stick by him. So yeah, it's and this is just January and so much has happened in my life. Like I have no answer other than God. That's just it just is what it is.
And girl, I love it here for you. You know, I'm rooting for you. Like I can't even wait to see what December 2026 holds. What's gonna been happen, girl, in all these 11 months from now.
Right.
I'm just saying, if that's just January now, girl.
There ain't no telling.
It's
I got some stuff coming up. I just can't say
not
what it is right
okay. Well, look, we can't talk about it right now. She just say, look, we know the checks coming in. Just know that,
now.
okay? Catch my side. How about that? Remember that
How
girl
about
said
that?
it? She said, whatever
Right.
happened to that baby? I ain't even heard. That was she was an interesting little thing. But anyway, she used to say that. But I want to go here with you because Chanell has lost 50 plus pounds, I believe. That's another yes to loving yourself from the inside out. And for me personally, I was like, I ain't got time, but to love myself from the inside out. Everything that y'all get here, everything you experience from Shenadra, that's overflow. You don't get Shenadra don't pour from the depleted cups no more. I got to start here, and then once they get all the way to the top, that excess, it's good now because it's been stirring in me good. So it's excess, it's overflowing all the way up out of me, and that's what you get. That's the experience that you get of me. That's because I poured so much here. And then it started, baby, this was I tell people all the time, 2021, 2020-ish, I cried so many tears because I had an identity crisis. Couldn't see myself how he seen me. It was too masked and it was too much to the perspective of other people in this world who had never even seen themselves. Well, shame on you. It's time to take the blinders off. And you got to adapt to seeing yourself like your father does because you can't depend on nobody else to do it but you. So you do it. So here I was, girl. Oh man, I say, God, dog. I said, I don't have no more tears. But I say, all them tears from them couple of years, he done wiped me out for an eternity because, baby, I had to do a lot of crying, Chanel. I had to do a lot of that to get recentered. So when it comes out, he's like, oh my gosh, it's just so clear. And you talk to this person. I say, baby, this work. This was a full life pre-AP course to Shenadra Washington, learning Shenadra Washington, layered on top of that, who that man say she was going to be in this space and time, however long he grants me here. That's what the work is. That's what you see in the overflow. So let's talk about going and losing the 50 pounds. What was the wake-up call? Was it kind of like, I'm just tired of looking at myself like this. My clothes don't fit right. Here's some health stuff coming on. Or I just know I need to be fitter, trimmer for my children. What did it look like? Because there are different trigger points that finally kick people in overdrive to say, I'm going to lose the weight. But what was that trigger that had Chanell say, this is the time to do it? I probably had some times before, but this is the real time to get rooted and stick to it and do it.
Well, the first scare was I kept having heart palpitations, and I was like, that's new. Like I've never felt, and it would be laying down in the car just all day, like just heavy heart palpitations. And I was like, I don't think that's supposed to be happening. So I went to a gym with my husband, and they did my BMI, and I think my BMI was like 38. It was high. It was bad. And people looking at me, it was like, oh, well, you don't look bad. You just real thick. You a thick honey. And I'm like, we can't keep saying that. We can't keep using that as the answer.
We will say that. But go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate it, but my heart is palpitating. And now I just found out what my BMI is. They were telling me that I could potentially have heart issues if I didn't get it together. And so I was like, okay, well, there's that. Let me just figure out how I'm going to go about losing this weight. And I was doing simple workout videos on YouTube. But then I started using apple cider vinegar like each morning and night to lose some weight. And then I saw that it was working because then it was cutting my hunger. And I think I lost like 20 pounds within the first 6 weeks, just intermittent fasting, apple cider vinegar, and YouTube videos. And so then people started noticing. And from that point, it was December 31st, 2019. And I was like, okay, God, what we doing? What's 2020 gonna look like? Because I had just lost my job. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. He was like, you gonna help influence women around the world. And I'm like, who? Like, who, me? And he's like, yeah, you're gonna help people lose weight. Mind you, I'm still overweight. Like, I still had a long way to go.
Mhm.
And I posted it that night, like, okay, this is what we're doing. We about to lose some weight. If you want to join me, click this link and you can be in this Facebook group, and we're gonna start January 1st. So while everybody was out doing whatever for New Year's Eve, I was making a video. And that video was so bad, girl, because I'm like, okay, guys, we're gonna do some squats. And I'm tired, huffing and puffing during the video. But the next morning I woke up, I had 1,200 people on that page. And I was like, where did y'all come from? And I'm like, they like, what do we do now? What we doing? And I was like, well, I guess we can start with the video I made last night. And I was so embarrassed to show them because I'm like, they're going to be like, she's tired. The paper, I had lost the paper in the video. So I'm trying to like still be excited, but I couldn't remember my next move. And they were like, we loved it. We did the video and we loved it even more because when I got tired, you were already tired in the video. Like it was, and you hear the kids in the back, and I'm like, go ask your dad. Like, so having that moment where you have all of these people who are like, we doing this together really propelled me. And that's how I ended up starting fitness. That was my first year where I was like, okay, I'm dropping out of school for IT. I'm going to school for certified personal training, and we're going to rock it out. And I ended up with like 600 or 700 girls like every 21 days. Like I had just virtual groups every 21 days. And these girls were showing up. They were all in overseas because I was in a military group. So that's how I lost the rest. I did it with people. And then they really helped me to hold myself accountable. So yeah, I mean, it was great.
And I think
it was a fun time.
The other part of it is the connectivity, because what you do is people can see themselves in you. And that's why I tell people all the time, like when building brands, I mean, of course, professionalism matters, but there's the level of you that if somebody was doing the exact same thing, that they could never do it like you, because your story, the way it's navigated, the way it's presented to people, that reception could always be different. We could be two people standing here selling the exact same thing, but it's something that audience may see in me that resonates with their story because maybe they've lived it similarly, that allows them to actually ignite their change. So the way that you came and did, like, look, people know these kids be in the background hollering and going on, and they know this real life, Chanell. We live in a place where we being mamas and doing all this multitasking, those things collide. We don't just get a clear shot to just be influencer, just be brand, but now you got to be a wife, you got to be a mama. These things collide and coexist. And many people struggle with how to navigate all those things at one time.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That was just a point where I knew I was allowed to be myself. I knew that I could be overweight and still help. I knew that I wouldn't be judged, and I knew that being myself was enough because the kids walked in. I was struggling during the videos. They were struggling during the videos. I met them where they were, even when I was at my most fit, because I had gotten extremely fit, but I remembered where I came from. And so when I had new girls that came in, I started where I remember starting, and then we prayed at the end of every class. We did Sundays were meant for resets and motivation to just speak life into each other. Like it was a real thing. It was more than just somebody saying, do 3 sets of 10 squats, do 3 sets of, it was way more than that.
It is. It's that bridge of connection. And that's where community really, really starts. And most of us really believe that. And really the whole premise of even why this particular podcast exists is because of that. Is because of that ability to connect the stories. Because people will tell you that stories don't matter. And I challenge them each and every time. I say, if it had not been for a story, your girl wouldn't even be sitting on here talking about, hey, welcome to Her Voice Shines podcast. If it hadn't been that said you need to do it the way that you do it. Because people ask, like, man, you just seem like you just jumped into it. I say, not by happenstance. Like somebody had to challenge me and say, girl, you talk to like when you have a conversation, you want to talk. Look, when you want to talk to them. When you have a conversation with people and you want to talk to them, you really ignite something, like you really bring something out of it, and people really. So girl, it filters so much. I'm like, man, I ain't no podcast host. Like they must don't know my story. Like I don't really fool with folks like that. Like I'm sweet, I'm real sweet. Like I'm a giver. But when it comes to I only got about 3 or 4 close friends that's been rocking with me for like a long time. and I think people get it confused because I say I have to work, I have to build a brand, but when you come into this personal world, I'm still that same kind of shelter kind of girl that just want to coach with a few friends. Don't call me every day now. I'm not a call every day.
Same, girl.
Don't be trying to call me now. Like you, but they know. But they know if something go down now. They know your girl gonna be there. Like, but don't call me every day. Like, you know. But so to do this, even it's like such a. If people probably do me high school, they still don't believe. They still got that old version. They don't believe it. Yeah. They do not believe that this is what this is. But when I say I know the power of community, I know what this yes has done, and it has gone all across the place with talking to heads of school departments and heads of pediatric departments and chiropractic leaders coming, I think tomorrow or something. But it's the kind of thing that like I didn't expect to be built for. Didn't expect to do it. But what I love about you is that you showed up without knowing all the answers. And many people think that they're going to get a perfect test and check everything off, and then you're going to start. You're going to be stuck forever because it will never be a perfect time. It will never be a place to where you just feel like you know everything. You got to show up and just do it. Yeah. And that willingness to come as you are is the thing that's going to spark the change. That's all I'm trying to prove with this podcast. That's all I'm trying to prove, Chanell.
And you are, because guess what? God doesn't call the equipped; He equips the called.
Say it again, girl, so we can pass the offering bucket around.
God does not call the equipped; He equips the called. That way, whenever you do have naysayers in the entire journey, they have no choice but to see exactly what God has done for you. They get to watch from the beginning to where you are now to where you're going. And there is no other answer.
That's it. So, Chanell, whenever you feel like you don't know the next, I want you to go look at that girl that started working on that video. Whenever you feel low, I want you to go back and look at her. Because you sitting here today, y'all, we record this on January 26th. Chanell's a different woman. Her Lord has come through God. So whenever you get weary, I want you to play that video back time and time again. Because you can literally see the strides in action. Yeah. You can see it. And many of us who are building and visionaries, because we're high capacity thinkers and planners, we forget about our own journey. I was just talking to this lady was just brilliant. And I shared this loosely, without revealing any names. Brilliant, powerful lady. Probably could call her, and if something was going around the city, she probably could call some shots. I don't even know how I managed to even be talking to that lady. Don't know. And I asked her on some real life stuff. I say, hey, what's your confidence level on 1 to 10? You know, that lady told me 2.
What?
Yeah. That's why the podcast exists. I say, because that lady, real talk. I don't even understand. Like, why I even got this lady's number? Like, why do it don't even seem like that's how I know it. That's how I know it's him. But I don't even know why it came up to ask her that. I say, hey, what really did she say 2? She said, she told me nights I gotta go home and cry. And this lady she can go buy anything she wants, Chanell. Beautiful home. And got power. And got real life power that can make some stuff happen. So one of the things that people will see when it's titles and influence and all these different things, they forget to see the woman in it. So said it doesn't really truly matter, your title or whatever. When you come here, we definitely applaud the strides. We want you to build the big things and build the big influence and build the big bank accounts. But we never forget about who you are here. We never forget about that.
That's good.
And that's really what it's all about. Because if people can take off those blinders, those lenses with all the other stuff and really just see the people, we would be in a different place. Agreed. So when I tell guests, I always try to tell them at the beginning, I was like, I'm for real, y'all, I don't take it lightly that you're here. I really, really don't. And you allow me to massage and pick around different things because you don't understand how those things for real create the ripple that lasts far beyond us being in this space. And that's really, really what it's all about. Let's do this, Chanell. Haven't got to do this in a while. Let's do Chanell's 80th birthday. Let's say Chanell is 80 now. She has made it. She probably grandmother, great grandmother by now. You know, we don't know what y'all doing. Y'all may be on the south of France. We don't really know how y'all celebrate. It could be real big, crab legs, barbecue. We don't know. We hoping that it's big and that you've made it. But now they're saying we're giving tributes to this woman and her life and her legacy. What are you hoping that people are saying in that moment about Chanell Sykes' legacy at her 80th birthday if she's graced to get there?
I hope that they say I'm humorous and that I make them smile. I hope that they say that they were able to learn something in what I told them, that I'm wise. I hope that they say that I never took life too seriously. That sounds bad, but it is. Like, I just want them to know that I had comfort in God, right? Like, I want them to know that I always gave God his praise. That's the biggest thing. Know that I have God in me.
I love that. And I think that you are making healthy strides, Chanell, to get there. Tell me about what success means to you. I know this probably changed. I know me personally, the former corporate woman in financial services. So if you would have asked me prior to that season in my life what success was, I would have told you one thing. If you would have told me while I was doing the thing and building the corporate ladder, I would have told you a different thing for success. You know, now that it's 2026 and I'm seeing life a little bit different. He had a lot more perspectives. Success for Chanell Washington looks a lot leaner for sure, a lot clearer for sure. And I'm open to the evolution. If I'm blessed to see another decade, that may evolve again. So tell me where you are with success and what does that really look like for you?
You want to know what's funny? When I first got married, and I've been married now it'll be 14 years this year. But when we first got married, I used to have this vision when I was in the Air Force sitting at my desk, being like, oh, this cannot be everything. I had this vision of my life, and we would wake up in the morning. I'd have a really cute pink robe on, and it was like satin, right? I'd have my coffee cup, and I would go out into the front yard after I made breakfast, kiss the kids, and I'd watch them run either to the bus or to the school. And the school was like in the neighborhood, right? And then I would go in the house and I had a long ponytail too. And it was my hair. It was real healthy.
Okay.
So healthy hair. I would go into the house, and then my office was like right to the left. And I knew that I did something. I just didn't know what it was, but I knew that there was an office space. And I'm like, I want that. Success for me looks like being able to have my own hours, be able to see my kids, watch them go back and forth to school, make sure I get to make all of their school events, and just being able to say yes to them. Because when you're in the Air Force, it's really hard to be able to say yes. Or when you work in general, you got to ask for your time off. You got to earn your time off. And so it's just crazy now because I wake up in the morning, I have my pink robe, but it's cotton.
Okay.
I fix the kids' breakfast. I don't have no hair, but that's okay.
Okay.
And then we go to the front yard, and then we walk the kids to school because the school is in the neighborhood. And then my other kid, I drop her off at her bus stop. And then my husband sits in the car while my oldest drives her car to school because she still got a permit, so she can't drive for real. But she's close enough. And then I come home and I work. And like, it's literally like the exact life that I envisioned for myself. And so I feel like I'm living in my answered prayers. I'm living in the success that I prayed for. It's not about how much money we make. It's not about how busy we are. It's just the fact that we're rich because we get to see our kids. I'm so thankful for that. And that for me is success.
And trust me, they are benefiting because of it, because you being their president for those kids, Chanell, I'm telling you, it means so much. We're in a world right now where everybody has to kind of scrap and do and get caught in the cycle. Yeah. But the fact you get to see your babies off every day.
Yeah, that's a blessing.
I
won't ever take it for granted.
That's one that if you watching this and you do that every single day, please, please, please do not please don't take it for granted, y'all, because Chanell Washington be in all kind of places with all kind of faces and all kind of incomes and social. And it's some women that can't say that.
Yeah.
It's some women, and I know them. I've talked to them. We've had conversation, and they can't say that. So if you're able to do that, I have to stress that, because we'll get caught up in life and just doing the thing. It becomes the norm, and you look around and you're like, oh, I don't know. Well, you have a tendency to forget even the smaller things to be grateful for. I'm telling you right now, that's one that's major. Now, when I was looking back, I was in corporate before I started this. I would always have these dreams and visions of me being on stages, and he go me. I say, Lord, what? Stop playing with me and stop giving me other people's dreams. Like, maybe I can stop eating so late at night or something. Like something.
Those snacks at night be getting you.
Yeah, stop all that snacking around at night, and you probably be having some more clearer dreams or something like that. But I kept seeing it, and I'm just like, God, Lord, I don't really know what that is. I don't even know if I want that, because I used to be a horrible public speaker. I used to be so nervous. I used to sweat. People don't believe this. This is why I always share this story, because this is literally God's story unfolding. I used to think I had like anxiety, girl. My throat would get like so thick.
Oh no.
It would be so thick. I was like, I need more. It was just a lot. Nobody would even think that this voice would, come out if they'd known my past. I kept having visions of me being on stages and stuff like that. And now when I look back and see that at a time and place where I had no idea how the lines would cross, had not in public speaking, I managed a global team before I left, a large size global team with people all over the world, which I didn't realize that was giving me context to be able to, really flow and facilitate conversation with so many diverse people. But at the end of the day, he was giving me these little seeds here and there. And if I was a little bit more mature and not so crazy, Chanell, I might have would have noticed them a little bit earlier. So those of you, and I say all this to say this, slow down in a moment. Look around and be very receptive to what you see in terms of grace and also gratitude, because they can change the trajectory of really and truly where you go. And I want to be crystal clear about that. And I wanted to ask Chanell really about success, because she may look up, and when these kids is grown and start having their own families, this idea of success may look a little bit different, for her. So to keep those things in the forefront of your mind as you're building your journey and building all the things. Now, Chanell, I want to tell you something. Girl, you did it. You did it here on this Her Voice Shines podcast. You did it here, girl. You did it. We had to do this. We know you. We know you're the wife. We know you're the mother. We know you're the influencer. But we had to really see the heart of this woman, which I knew that if I got her here, that I was going to give her the opportunity to do just that. To do just that, Chanell. That's what you did. And I want to thank you for that. And thank you for allowing us into some pure spaces, which I will never take for granted. Now, I want to give you the opportunity to close our show by giving us some final words, some good parting words for the space that really captures the essence of Chanell Sykes. And after that, I'll say some closing remarks, and we will give Chanell Sykes back her day. Over to you.
I just want to say thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for what you have, and for listening to God even when you felt like you just wasn't sure if it was going to work. And it is. You have what you've created is beautiful. And I just want to give you your flowers. And I hope that you know that too, that you are touching the lives of women out there. And that's much needed. Whether it's one or whether it's a million, is needed. So thank you. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome, Chanell. And give us something to just take us home, girl. Give us some good,
I would say don't be right now. My biggest thing is disrupting social spaces just by being who I am. And I really hope that other women, especially the beauty space, my goal is to disrupt the beauty space, right? Because there are so many women like you and like me who we just enjoy. We're still trying to figure it out, right? Like, we're still learning life. We're still learning what looks good on us. We elevate, we age. We want to be able to do this beautifully. Don't be afraid to show up exactly who you are in the moment. Embrace that. Embrace who you are. That way, whenever you get to your next level, you're so thankful for where you came from. So that would probably be the biggest thing that I want to give. Like, just be thankful for exactly where you are in your journey.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna tell you like this: if you're not operating in who you are slapping your father in the face, because he created you just like that. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Don't slap him in the face because everything he creates is good. Now, what you do with it, that's on you. Because he don't create no junk and no waste. Okay. And I talk to him about he don't create no junk and no waste. So if you're gonna sit there on what he gave you and sleep on it, like he ain't the king of kings, the Lord. Your girl can't speak on that. Let me tell you something. Out there in the Her Voice Shines podcast, if you lasted this long, let me tell you something. I love you and I thank you and I appreciate you for being here. And like the old folk in church say, I love you, ain't nothing you can do about it. And we'll be back really in no time with another amazing woman here on the Her Voice Shines podcast. Until then, we love you and we're out.